set will be calculator oriented. At least one exercise will ask you to dump stuff into the calculator. And this problem would probably be, when you look at your scratch paper, it will be written on there, no work is needed for this problem, because the calculator is doing all the work, which means that there's no partial credit for a problem like this. You can't very well show me what you did. You can tell me what you did, but if it doesn't turn out right, you didn't do it right. So typically, what we do with a problem like this, remember, is that we enter the data into a list, which means that we use the stat key and we edit a list. So stat, we turn it on first, then I can get rid of it. Okay, so we go to the stat key, we choose edit. What if there's information in our list already? We clear it. Okay, so that means label, cursor up to the label, use the clear key and enter, or you can also get rid of information in the list by using the clear function here. You use the clear function out of the menu to tell it what list you want to clear. So you have to add a list call to the problem in the exercise. It still works the same way. And then just enter the data. So you should have 12 pieces of data by the time you put that in there. After you've entered the information into the calculator, it is to your advantage to be proactive. Double check that data. Make sure you didn't mistype something, because the calculator is very smart, but it's very unforgiving. If you give it garbage, then it spits out garbage. And can't tell you the number of times that people made mistakes with that too. After the information's in, then we can go back and we can run one variable statistics on the list that we've used. Now that means that you'll be going to the stat key and you'll be going over to the calc column, the calculate column, to pick up that one variable statistics. Those of you that have the newer 84, remember that the menu screen on the 84 is a little bit different. The 84 screen will ask you for your X list, which is going to be list 1 or list 2, etc., depending upon where you stuck it. It's going to ask you for a frequency list, which should be empty. There shouldn't be anything in that list because each item is its own entry, and then it will allow you to be able to calculate. On the older 83s, when you do stat and you go into the calc column and you do one variable statistics, it pulls it up onto the home screen immediately. Those who are with the 84s don't see that because it pastes it and then launches right away, and you have to manually, in this case, tell them you want list number 1 or wherever you put the list in the problem. So now you've had the calculator do all the work for you. What on the first screen is useful? X bar. And if that's a decimal value, they'll tell you how many decimal places to keep. What else on the first screen is useful? S of X, the standard deviation. Be careful about picking up the correct standard deviation, because sigma of X means you're talking about a population, and this problem very clearly said we're dealing with a sample. And then again, we'll tell you how many decimal places to keep onto that. So let's say here they asked us to keep 2 decimal places, and that would give us an 8.12. Assuming I haven't typed in anything wrong. So I didn't go back and double check. So if you're not getting the same values I'm getting, then it's because I didn't double check. And I know that some of you are just happy to let me do the work for you. Can't do that on the test hub. Anything else on the first screen useful? Nothing. But there's a second screen. What's useful on the second screen? The median. So my median value also turns out to be 22. Anything else interesting or useful on this screen?
The max and min.
Yeah, because range, remember, is the difference between the maximum and the minimum. So that means that we would have a 33 minus an 8, giving us a range value of 25. Now that's probably the only place for this problem that you could get any partial credit. If you accidentally picked up one of the wrong values, or got the right values but subtracted wrong because you did it in your head instead of let the calculator do it, or just as a typo type of problem, that's about the only place for a partial credit thing. Otherwise, it's an all or nothing type of situation. So I'm missing mode. How do I find mode? Mode is
What occurs the most.
what occurs the most. So could we play hide and go seek with a list of data? If it's a small list of data, she'll be able to find the mode pretty easily. So in this particular case, is it pretty obvious that 30 seems to appear more often than anything else? Could there be more than one mode? Very likely. So if there's more than one mode, you have to put both of them in there, which is why they put underneath there, separate your answers with a comma as needed, if it turns out to be. So the mode is the only thing that the calculator is not going to do for you. It's the thing that you have to do yourself. But even then, there's no real partial credit, because if you can't count, then we got a problem. So there'll be one simple problem like this.